Hey guys, even though it's winter, but for gardeners, I think it can be kind of a busy time of the year because you can be making compost so that when spring kicks in, you'll be ready with some fresh, nourishing compost for your plants. Now, I'll show you a few ways that I compost around here. Some are for outdoors and some can be used indoor and outdoors. So hopefully these will kind of create some winter projects for you to keep busy. Let's take a look at the first compost that we can do. This is a tumbler. Obviously, this one is for outdoor use. If you can find an outdoor space with lots of sun, that would be great because it would help to heat things up in here and break things down a lot faster. But for me, this is the only location that I have. And I've gone away for a few days and look. So the rainwater, or the rain seeps through, and I'm so glad I was able to collect this. So this is rainwater that kind of went through the tumbler, so should be really rich. If you want the compost to break down even faster, besides the heat, is that you also need to turn it. Look how wet this is. So I'm going to add some horse bedding pellets to help absorb this and add some more carbon to this mix. Okay. Pick this up at Tractor Supply. These are like compressed sawdust. I just need to put some of this to absorb all that moisture and put more carbon in to activate the compost pile even more. Some people say that they have a hard time turning the tumbler, and I think the reason is because you don't have the leverage. What I noticed is that I need to make it, the tumbler, to be more comfortable for my height to, grab and pull back as I turn it. So when the tumbler is too low to the ground, which I think usually is the case because most people are taller than me, you'd have to elevate the tumbler. So that's how I do it. I have the tumbler at a very comfortable height for me to pull and turn. Otherwise, it's just going to be harder if you're trying to pull like something really high up and pull it down. You can see this can be quite a great exercise any time of the year, but especially in the winter. Now I'm going to add more kitchen scraps. To learn more about how to compost in a tumbler, be sure to check out my full episode on that. I'll put the link down below. The next composting method is called vermicompost. This is one of my favorite ways to compost because you're using worms to help eat up the food scraps and garden and kitchen scraps and prunings, and the end product is the castings, which is just loaded with microbes and nutrients, which is so rich and fabulous for your soil, and your plants are going to love it. The great thing about vermicomposting is that you can do it indoor or outdoor. So I have my system set up outside because in the winter it really doesn't get that cold out here. It doesn't get freezing. But vermicompost, there are lots of different types of systems out there that are designed for, housing your worms that you can buy brand new or even used. And some systems are actually pretty clean that you can just keep it in the garage. You can even keep it in your kitchen area. And that would be the perfect temperature year-round for the worms to live in. And for me, because it doesn't freeze over here, I just leave mine against the wall. So if it does get more cold, you can kind of just cover it up with a blanket or something. So you must have been curious what this box is. I just ordered some worms from Uncle Jim. You guys want to order some from them too? I will put my affiliated link down below. But yeah, I've ordered from them multiple times and the worms always come so healthy. This is my first time ordering this kind though. This is much bigger. So I'm really excited to have a different kind of worms. All right, so let's just open this up. I got 2 bags. When the worms just arrived, they can be a little dehydrated. So you just got to put them in some moist environment and they should come back more lively. I'm just gonna straight up put this in my vermicompost. They're definitely much bigger than the ones I used to get. And I believe these are called like European night crawlers or something. And the reason I got these ones, whoa, look at that, is because they can handle the cold and the heat better than the red regulars. And I'm really excited that they can get quite large, like maybe even 6 inches long. So I think I'm gonna put a good amount of these in my hungry bin. Let's go take a look at that bin. Here's the hungry bin. You can put kitchen scraps and, you know, food scraps or garden clippings in here. And then on the bottom, we actually just got rain, so it got really wet and it dripped down here. This thing is called the hungry bin. You can see, you just open this up and then you can put your kitchen scraps, food scraps, and garden waste and clippings in there. And then on the bottom, well, excuse me, it just rained, so a lot of water kind of just seeps through the top section and it dripped down there. But that thing is supposed to catch all the leachate, which is all the excess water or juice that produce when, you know, after like the worms are eating things up. So I'm just gonna take this and dilute it in water and water the garden. But you can see how it catches all the leachate on the bottom. So you can actually just leave this in the garage or somewhere indoor. It can be kept pretty clean just because there is a tray on the bottom. To collect the castings, you just need to release that red latch to take the tray out. Let's get some worms in here. You can use this hungry bin for any kind of kitchen scraps, especially if you're using it for indoor use. But for me, it's actually a really nice size bin that I decided that it can be for like more like garden clippings, some things that are much bigger and that I don't want to spend time, like a really long time, to clip away and make them smaller to fit into certain types of compost. So this is where they go. This is my large compost bin. And for those of you who wants to do vermicomposting outdoors, make sure it is in a cool area, so more protected, more shaded, or under a tree. This is mine is behind a tree, so it's only getting about an hour or two of very early morning sun, and the rest of the day is shaded, so it stays nice and cool here. And that's just what the worms want. All right, let's get the worms in. Here we go. Worms, have fun. Oh, look at that. Oh. There are 250 worms in this bag. In goes my garden clippings. That's it. The second type of vermicompost I have is the 360 Worm Factory. This one, it's got its pros and cons. I like that it's kind of very tidy and it's like compact, and you can definitely use it indoor because it's, you know, it's stacked like in more, I guess, takes up less space. And then it's got this tray on the bottom, or this bin, to catch the excess leachate. But the thing that I don't like about it is that because it is a more stacking system, it means the deeper you go down, the more heavy it gets, the more compact, more condensed the materials would be. So the lower the level you go down, it gets harder to take each bin out. The worm seems to be totally fine. It's just that it's a bit harder for me to harvest because everything is so compact. I have to kind of really fluff it back up again, and it's really hard to pick up each bin to move things around. So what I like to use this bin for is for smaller, finer food scraps, such as my juice pulps, my kitchen scraps that I kind of chop up smaller, just any kind of things that are more soft and faster for them to digest, so that this becomes like a more fast turnaround for me to collect the worm castings. Kind of developing a lot of soldier flies here, larvae. It's all good though. It also helps to compost things down. Sometimes if it's too wet, it can get that way. It doesn't bother me though, so I'm just gonna leave it. Otherwise, you can get some like cardboard or coconut cord down, like shredded cardboard. But you can see how this casting is just very, very, very crowded. See all the imprints from the top bin? This thing is really full. It's definitely overdue for a harvest. So I have two towers, one here and the other one is next to it. When the castings get too full on this side, I would migrate them to this side just to use it as a storage, and there are some worms living on this side as well. And whenever I need some worm castings, I just scoop from this side and take and mix it with my soil. Let's bring some friends in for them. Before I start talking about one of my favorite ways to compost, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe to this channel so that'll let me know what kind of content you enjoy watching. All right, so this is one of my favorite ways to compost. It is called the Bookashi composting method. This is the bucket that I put all the food scraps in, and it's one of my favorite ways because you can do this indoor or outdoors. I put it in the garage, but some people even put it in the kitchen. Because I can keep this indoors, this pretty much leaves me no excuse as to why I wouldn't compost, even if I'm feeling really lazy. I mean, this is a really quick and easy method to do. And the best part about this is that you can compost cooked foods too. So your raw meats, cooked meats, fats, small bones, dairy, cheeses, all that sort of stuff can go in here. So if you're someone who likes to entertain a lot, don't let that food go to waste. You can make compost. You put food scraps in here, layer it up with some inoculated grains, and you just keep layering, and then using this airscape lid that just pushes and compresses all the air out of the buckets. But you can use anything like at Home Depot. They have airtight kind of a lid. You can also use that as well. And the odor is just very, very minimal. If not, some people don't even smell it. And you put that lid on. That would remove the oxygen, which helps the process in here to ferment rather than rot. So you won't smell anything like the rotting flesh or any kind of nasty smells like that. It's just gonna be like a little bit of that ferments, kind of a pickling kind of smell in here. I leave it in the garage. When the weather's not favorable outside, I have no excuse to be lazy to not compost. And when this bucket gets full, you can either take it to the garden to bury when the weather's more favorable, or I have this other method where you can do this entire composting process all in the comfort of your own home. So I hope you enjoyed all the different types of composting methods. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite way to compost? To find out how to do Bookashi composting in just 1 month, be sure to click on this video. It's either here or there. I'm really bad with directions. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.